Philippa, Boyens, Cate, Benedict, Cumberbatch, and Benedict. Kick it off with a quick question for the filmmakers. Who's Philippa and Andy, your director that you've been working. Sorry, one after one thing. After close to 2 decades of working, of inhabiting Tolkien's world and bringing his work to life on the big screen in my head, say extraordinarily so. How do you feel now that you're close to the end of that journey?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I think the most intensely emotional moments of farewell, if you like, or for me, are actually when we finish shooting with each of the actors on set. Because it never happens on the same day. I mean, our last day of the shoot, for instance, I think we had about 3 or 4, which we had with Richard and Lilly and Cate and Cate and maybe Graham, maybe on our last day. So yeah, everyone else is gone by me, so it never happens at once. So we were just one by one farewelling each of the cast members as they finished their final day. And those are the personal days. Those are the days for me that are the hardest. Even though you're going to stay friends with these people, because you are friends with them and you'll want to stay friends with them, it's not going to be, you're never going to see Galadriel. If you decide to sit next to Cate here, but sitting next to Galadriel is pretty cool too. I remember Ian McKellen was probably the hardest when it was his last day. Having been through the whole thing we've been through. Lilly was fun. I mean, we got through that with a bit of a wild fun. But Ian was a bit more melancholy. Ian was like, it was the last shot he did with Gandalf, and that was at the end. You don't have to put the stuff on and you're done, you're finished. It's like, we're going to see you again, but Gandalf is finished now. So those are actually, to me, that's the most intensely moments of closure that actually completing a movie, to be honest. So, completing a movie is in a strange way to say you're excited because you've got, I think this is going to be a really, I think this is a really chance to be the best of the 3 movies. I mean, you guys will decide that, the audiences will decide that, but it's like, in my opinion, I'm very, very excited about it, and so I'm pleased, I'm proud, and it'll be great to get it out into the world. I'm excited about what we're going to release, and then at that point, we're on to other projects. But yeah, it's a strange feeling.
Philippa, how do you feel?
I'm really excited for this film to come out into the world. I think I felt really good about it even when I saw the very earliest cut. So it's like, it's what's meant to happen. You finish the film and then you hand it over to the people that you made it for, which is the audience. But it is sad. I've been doing a little bit of working with some of the actors, and that's been really interesting because you think, wow, this is the last time you need to do that voice. I can't imagine that Andy is going to do Gollum again. That doesn't seem logical. You have to.
And he'll be doing Gollum for the rest of his life. When the film career dries up, he'll be hired at children's parties.
Actually, my ambition is to do the GPS version of that. Because I can really confuse the hell out of the driver.
And how will it go, Andy? Can you just say that?
I wasn't a cue, actually. But it would probably go, turn left, right, turn right, turn right, turn right, turn left. It really is, I can basically just go to parties for the rest of my life. I don't have to work again, really.
You and Paris Hilton.
Paris Hilton.
I think we have a first question over here, Laura.
Hi, Benedict and Andy. I just wanted to ask if you had a chance to have a kind of mocap powwow, and Benedict, what you learned from Andy, and if you watched his videos that Westro put out of him and his seat, and what you guys have taken from each other.
There's nothing for me to do.
blue shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, in all honesty, I was really gutted because he was on a sabbatical from directing second unit and doing his own work. By the time I got there to do Samaritan, I was fitted in between a lot of people's breaks because of filming Khan. So I learned from watching him and the finished product. And Peter very kindly showed me a piece of not quite yet fully completed footage of Bilbo and the rhythm scene, the first film, Bilbo and it was wonderful because everything that was gone was there, and something not to do when it was Andy in the suit, and everything after about 3 seconds of watching Andy in the suit was gone. I mean, there's the most extraordinary thing Weta has done has been faithful to his performance. It's exceptional. At the same time, I had to play a servant. I'm on a biped now, I'm this, flying, fast, sprouting, few 100-foot long ancient creature. So I couldn't learn from his brilliant aping, pun intended, of mammalian behaviour. I had to go a distance.
Harvey Weinstein instead.
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah.
Just a fire-breathing
I did go to Reptile House, I did do that. But I mean, yeah, he's the king of it. Again, unintended King Kong go. But I didn't want to copy. He's very much the master and pioneer of that entire art form. And it is an art form. And it's a truly expressive and performance-involved art form. And that's what's so astonishing about it. As Benedict put this morning with him in old age. It's something that anyone can do and become anything when they're doing it. And that's an incredibly freeing experience. It brings it back to play. Peter was just talking about a filming technique where he gets to move around the actual scene that he's directing and operate himself. Well, that's what directors should do. So much technology has distanced us, and now it's actually bringing us back into being very tactile and immediately involved in the end results. And it's a thrilling thing to do. It really is.
For Peter, can you talk a little bit about what sense of completion or maybe catharsis you feel about exploring this world at this point, and what, if any, kind of consideration maybe you've given to what you're doing in the future to avoid maybe being sort of creatively constrained in a way that maybe George Lucas was with Star Wars, to ensure that you're not sort of singularly creatively limited to sort of this sort of material in this world?
George Lucas never made Meet the Feebles, or there's always Meet the Feebles too. Don't worry. We won't be creatively constrained at all. We'll think of things that we can do. No, it's, I mean, it's the, every time you go into a movie, you are making you're making the film that has been written in the script, and you're making it in the way in which you feel, and a lot of your personality and character goes into it, because you're ultimately making decisions all the time. You make decisions every second of the day about anything, about the colour of the wig, or the costume, or whether or not there's the section of the doorway here or here, or then, when I'm working with the actors, I'm sitting there just, trying to put myself in the minds of the audience of the movie, and so I try to give the actors notes in the sense of what if I was sitting watching the movie, what would I feel? And of course, all of it's, and then in post-production, everything else, there's lots of decisions, but it's always going to be your personality, your character, and every film that you do in some respects is going to reflect your personality and character. And unfortunately, Philippa, Fran and I will share very similar personalities. There's nothing sort of, so we have a great time working behind the scenes, and hopefully some of that spirit comes out on the screen as well. So and it's always been in our movies. So in a sense, one thing that Fran and I want to do, is to tackle some New Zealand stories. It's been, Heavenly Creatures was the last time we did a New Zealand story, so we are developing a couple of New Zealand themed stories, which, and so that's something that there's other projects as well. It's exciting. I don't have a 5-year plan. I don't have a 2-year plan. I never have. I always just like being organic and just figuring it out as I go. So I literally, we'll see what happens next year. Don't know. There's a few different ways it can go. So that makes it exciting. Otherwise, it would be kind of really boring if it was all set in concrete now. It'd be like, oh, okay, doing this. It's like a schedule. There is no schedule. There is no lockdown plan. It's great. It's organic. So it's exciting. But it's certainly that's where our heart started. Go back into that slightly more low budget Kiwi stories we want to tell. Lisa.
My question is for the actors. I was just wondering, these movies, there's a big story, it's a huge battle at the end, but within that are these individual characters and each have mistakes and things still within a journey. And I was just wondering if you could just tell me how briefly about your characters and their journeys, and Benedict, please do both, and Philippa, if you could please do Bilbo.
Well, spoiler alert, no spoilers, guys.
It's difficult to answer that without ruining what the journey, I can only speak for my own character, but he goes on an enormous journey. A big journey. Well, the stakes, I think from the outset, Bard's main objective is to look after his kids. That's all he has, basically, and I think we keep that at the primary focus of his journey the whole way through. It's about his family, which is a lovely thing. It's a very pure thing that he has to fight for, and it's the only thing he has to fight for. That's all I'm telling you.
Well, in a way, when the dwarves unleash Smaug, it changes Middle-earth forever for all of these characters. Everyone it's a massive event that there's no going back from. So everything kind of gets turned over at the end of that second movie. So that's changed. Cate, your journey?
Just the stakes, I lost one.
No, I think what I find really fascinating about what the script has really brought out is that every character, perhaps apart from the necromancer, is put to the test in some way. So they're pitted not only against the obvious forces of evil, or the so-called evil characters against the forces of good, but against themselves. And I think the stakes are so high for all of them, because like all of us as a species, our fates may seem individual, but in fact they're inextricably linked with our fate as a collective organism. And I think that's what the film really brings out, is that one species downfall will lead to the next species downfall. And certainly that's something that Galadriel and the White Council can see, absolutely. And I think with this film sitting in reverse order, in the shadow of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I think you can then go back and see those films again with a depth of understanding of the stakes.
I think. Yes, it's one of the things that was fantastic about coming back for Legolas for this was that, in a way, got to create the stakes for the Lord of the Rings, because there was no backstory. Legolas isn't really a part. We got to create a backstory through these three movies that wasn't there. And that was the opportunity in doing that. So, because the character, I felt quite restricted in Lord of the Rings. Not restricted, but I felt very, I felt the weight of responsibility to be so true to the character in the books, for the sake of the fans. And what was kind of amazing about coming back and doing The Hobbit was that there's no story there, so we got to create that backstory, which was really fun, actually. And then, to have Aragorn to play opposite against, in Rings and sort of with Fellowship, in terms of an action officer work, and I got to have this great character, Tara, to play them and to have interaction with each other.
Slang works together.
For Tauriel, she starts out in the trilogy of films a very young, sheltered, and naive elf. She she's never been outside of the walls of her realm. And this adventure, this quest of hers has brought her into the broader Middle Earth. And now will lead her into an epic battle of which she's never been a part of anything like it, whereas her king Thranduil has been a part of even more harrowing battles, and he's much more, he's well-worn and he's lived. So she comes out of the third film in the way her story concludes, being forever changed and having a
Alive or dead?
That's what I'm saying. Being forever changed. She will never be the same again. And you know, throughout the third film, you watch the naivety start to crumble, and her understanding, her innocent and perhaps naive worldview start to get challenged, and the foundations of that start to shake underneath of her. So there is some very conclusive resolution to Tariel's story, and there is some conclusive and yet still slightly ambiguous conclusion to her romance.
I think with Smaug, you know, there's enough to move from invincible to being vulnerable. There's
You can't really say anything else.
No, not really.
Spoiler alert.
Not really. I thought that prequel. I thought that Smaug as a baby gun working on that.
Peter just said don't speak.
I don't
Did we ask sexual operations or something? I mean,
Anything else coming up?
I'm catching a bus soon. Yeah, and I'm going to pass it on.
Colin was in this notice for a long time, and then finally we get to Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, hello everyone, hi. Not only is it the last film, but it's the last Comic-Con for the whole experience. And I wonder, some of you might be Comic-Con virgins, some of you are veterans by now with other shows. Can you talk about what this experience is like? Just, are you geeks? Are you into it? What does Comic-Con mean to all of you? And there's a lot of people dressed up as all of you out there. I don't know if you get to go out and see that.
I have to say, always a virgin, aren't you?
I am a virgin. I'm a Comic-Con virgin, which is crazy. I can't believe it. And it was very emotional actually, because I don't know why. I think it was just there was so much going on. So
Now you're out of work.
yeah, now I'm out of work. No, but it's very emotional. I was thinking about how it's all the end. It's like the end of my first Comic-Con, but it's the end of
It's the beginning of the end. You've got the premieres. I was thinking about that too, actually. I was thinking about. Yeah, I was thinking about this as an ending, but I thought, no, there's more. There's our press junket at the end of the year premiere. So, well,
21. Yeah. We were talking outside. The youngest was 20 when we arrived in New Zealand, and she's just celebrated her 18th birthday.
Wow.
So that's...
hands off, all hands off.
The first time I came to con was in 2005, I think. And I was so scared to come. I didn't know what to expect. Everyone told me everyone here are freaks, that they might mob me, that they'll be dressed in terrifying costumes and behaving in wild and erratic ways. And almost 10 years later, I love coming to con. I'm not saying I've been here 10 times, but I love being here because one of the things that I realized was that, first of all, you're not all as weird as everyone makes it. Well, they're not as weird as everyone makes them out to be. That it's actually a lot of really normal, decent people who are really passionate about the things that often I find myself doing. And also I just love the way, and a lot of times in film promotion, everything is taken so seriously. And at con, you just go have fun. Nobody wants you to take it seriously. No one expects you to take it seriously. None of us are taking ourselves seriously. And anyone who knows me knows that I never take anything seriously. So I'm right at home at Comic-Con. I love it.
On that note, I think think we have to wrap it up, but let's get a big round of applause.
Thank you.